Good Wednesday evening and welcome into the High School Fan Zone. I am Randy Rosetta. This is 100.7 The Score. We're going to talk football for all three segments tonight. I had to think about it because I'm going to jump into some volleyball next week, but tonight it is all football. And remember, the rotation tonight is Lubbock High, Friendship, and then Lubbock Cooper. I'm going to get some stuff out of the way here. We got a couple of Westerners sitting here next to me. We're going to see if Juan Rod gets here, and he likes to make an entrance, huh, Coach Rod? He's got a flair for the dramatic, I guess. So, as I mentioned, tonight is Lubbock High, Friendship, Lubbock Cooper. We shuffled the deck a little bit this year to get a little bit of a different flavor each night. I wanted to get an LISD team, a Friendship team, and a Lubbock Cooper ISD team in here. There he is, making the entrance. Coach Juan Rod, looking sharp and white, though.
We took a shower yesterday.
That's your color.
It is. Thank you.
Is white a color? You guys are smart Lubbock High students. Is white technically a color? That sounds like a science question. Back when Coach Rod and I went to school, we didn't have to answer hard questions like that. Anyway, I'm sorry. I digress. Monday night will be Estacado, Memorial, and Liberty on the High School Fan Zone. That's from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Tuesday nights are Monterey and Coronado, 6 to 7 p.m. And then Wednesday nights, like tonight, Lubbock High, Friendship, and Lubbock Cooper, 6 to 7:30 p.m. On the Raymar Networks, we carry a lot of folks' games during the week. Let me run through that list real quick. Friendship's games are on Double T 97.3 FM. Lubbock Cooper, you can be heard right here on 100.7 The Score. Liberty games are on 93.1 Young Country. Coronado will be on 96.9 The Bull. And Monterey is on 93.7 The Eagle. From 6 to 7:30 p.m. on 97.3 and 100.7, you can listen to the West Texas Friday Night Preview Show. And those two stations will also carry the West Texas Friday Night Scoreboard, 9:30 to midnight. Archive shows can be found on the High School Fan Zone fan page at doubleTSportsNetwork.com. And remember to download the 100.7 The Score mobile app to listen live or to listen to podcasts of all the High School Fan Zone shows. I did not mention Lubbock High in that list. They are actually down the dial a little bit. I don't know if you still call it a dial. But our man Rob Bro is the radio voice for the Westerners, so you'll hear a familiar voice, just a little bit different call numbers on the radio there, and you will hear them tomorrow night, Thursday night, against Snyder, 7 p.m. at Lowry Field. That's the HubCityPreps.com game of the week. That's two teams that have done some good things this year, but both are hunting for a win. So first of all, let me have the two young men here introduce themselves. Grab the mic there, because Josh is the reason I have guys say their names, because I'm not going to try that last name.
I'm Josh Olaniran.
No way.
I'm Ivan Rodriguez.
I could have handled Ivan. Yeah. And I've met Ivan before. Josh, I'm just going to call you Josh from now on. From the rest of our friendship, you're just Josh to me, okay? Fair enough. I'm going to get Coach to jump in here in a minute. But Ivan, you mentioned you guys are 0-2, but it's not an ugly 0-2.
No, sir.
There's never really a pretty 0-2. But you guys have done a lot of good things, especially offensively. What's the tone or the mood with this team after starting that way? I have a feeling that you feed off of that guy to your left, so I have a feeling what the answer might be. What's the mood like with your guys?
Sir, the mood is we just want to come back and we just want to win. We're trying to work more together as an offensive line, since I play offensive line. We're just trying to work together and work to find a way to hopefully get this first win, which we will get this first win. So our mood is more of like an aggressive mood, so that we come out tomorrow and win.
What about you, Josh? Are you on the other side of the ball?
Yes, sir.
What position do you play?
Corner.
Okay.
I think what we're really just trying to do as a defensive unit is minimize our mistakes, because we're not making that many mistakes. It's just a bit costly ones that happen at the wrong, unfortunate ones. And well, as soon as we do that, I think that we'll get our first win. And I think that should be next game.
You guys have been in a couple of shootouts, really, which defenses get the bad raps in shootouts sometimes. Everybody looks at the defenses, what are they doing? But, Juan, that's not necessarily always the case. Sometimes it's just a matter of the other guys making a few plays, and you've played a couple of offenses that found ways to make plays against you. And you guys, to your credit, you keep answering.
You know, and I'm really proud of both sides of the ball, and definitely not just our coaches, but our kids as well. And they all have done a great job. And I think one of the most important things to realize is if you go back and watch film from both games, it really we're down by 8 to 10 plays. You know, it's not something that is consistently where someone is doing something consistently where our kids aren't able to adjust both offensively and defensively. But we have to eliminate the big play. And that was kind of the focus around at least for our defensive practice. And our offensive practice is to continue to establish the run and do a better job. And Coach and Ivan would tell you do a better job of protecting our quarterback so that he's got a little bit more time to throw and hit some of our skill kids down the deep routes and so forth. So it's just something that I think our kids were really honed in on this week. They had a great practice, positive energy still around. They know that they're a good football team, and they know when you show them the clips versus great things and little things. We lost with just some big plays, but there's not one time where I said, man, that was a coverage bust, or hey, you know what, we weren't at the right place. We were always in the right place. Lady Luck was a little bit, on my opinion, on their side that night, and the ball fell into their hands a couple of times and made some amazing plays against some outstanding coverage. So it's definitely something that we just worked on, tried to get a little bit better this week, but our kids are prepared and they're ready to get after it. We
talked last week with your guys. Sometimes the little things when you're 16, 17, 18 years old are the ones that kind of escape because you want to make a big block or you want to pick the ball off, or sometimes it's just being one step over and being in the right place that can make a big difference.
Absolutely.
Snyder is a team that Lubbock High beat last year, 27-26. Tigers come in 0-2, I believe I said that. Coach, I believe he's Coach Gonzalez, who's a very energetic guy. In fact, the first time I talked to him, I had to make sure I hadn't called you because he's very enthusiastic. He came over to Snyder. I believe he was coaching over in Lovington, New Mexico, which has a lot of history over there.
Mm-hmm.
And you've talked about this one. You guys play a lot of these one-school towns, and there's a difference in playing. I mean, you play Lubbock teams that have a lot of pride, but those one-school towns have a different level of just a little bit different feel when they get here. So that's going to wrap us up on the first segment. We'll be right back in the Westerner Fan Zone after this break on 100.7 The Score.
Bringing you the latest news from Lubbock High Athletics. This is the Westerner Fan Zone podcast from 100.7 The Score.
666.
Welcome back to the High School Fan Zone on a Wednesday night. I had to stop and think. My day got thrown off a little bit. Coach Juan will understand this. I had some dad stuff I had to take care of, and that kind of shuffled my schedule a little bit, but that's much more important than anything else I do. So,
amen.
I'm going to run through this week's high school football schedule in and around the Hub City of the teams that I cover. I'm on HubCityPreps.com. There's a bunch of other games, so I'm going to stick to the ones that I know. I mentioned Thursday night, these Westerners at home against the Snyder Tigers, 7 p.m. at Lowry Field in the HubCityPreps.com game of the week. Friday night, really full schedule, and this is one of those games. I'm trying to think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 home games in Lubbock on Friday. We'll start at the top, Class 6A. Friendships at home for their first game of the season at home. They take on Wichita Falls Legacy at 7 p.m. at Tiger Stadium. That's on Double T 97.3 FM. Coronado looks for its first win. They go down to Abilene, take on the Bulldogs of Abilene-Wiley at 7 p.m. at Sandifer Stadium. 96.9, the Bull will carry that one. Tascosa comes down to Lubbock and takes on Lubbock Cooper at 7 p.m. at Pirate Stadium. That'll be right here on 100.7 The Score. Monterey makes the long road trip to El Paso, take on El Paso Franklin at 7 p.m. That's on 93.7 The Eagle. Estacado is the home game at Lowry Field on Friday, 7 p.m. against West Plains. Matadors won a thriller last week, and now they get to turn around and play the number 2 team in 4A. West Plains Wolves are very good, but I think Estacado's a team that's going to start to come together a little bit quicker this season. We'll see how that plays out. Liberty is at home for the third week in a row. They play Monahans at Patriot Stadium. That'll be on 93.1 Young Country. Trinity Christian's at home for the first time. They take on Denver City at Warwick Memorial Stadium at 7 p.m. Lubbock Christian entertains Stamford, coached by former Monterey coach Wayne Hutchinson. That is at 7 p.m. at Mass Rider Capitol Field. Levelland is at home against Idalou. And Hereford hosts Plainview. Hereford's made their rounds here around West Texas. They're playing all kinds of teams. They played these Westerners and then Estacado and now Plainview Bulldogs. couple of six-man games. Christ the King is on the road at Midland TLCA. They play on the auxiliary fields right outside of Astound Broadband Stadium there in Midland. And Kingdom Prep goes up the road to Wichita Falls to take on Wichita Christian at 7:30 p.m. Let's jump back in with these guys. Ivan, Coach just said I'm going to let the cat out of the bag here. He just told me this is the best 0-2 team he's ever been a part of, that he's ever coached. He's got a lot of faith in you guys. What's that mean to you guys? You've been around him for a while. You've been around Lubbock High for a while. What's that mean to hear your coach say that, I know you guys are good, he knows that you're very close to being where you could be?
Yes, sir, and I 100% agree with him. As a senior, growing up, going through high school with Coach Rod, it's just like he's inspiring to all of us, not just me, to all of us. He's a heck of a coach, and everyone knows that. I believe 100% that we can do great things this year, and so on and so forth throughout the rest of the years. Like Josh, he's a junior, and I know next year he'll do good, as well as all the underclassmen.
Juan, is this your fourth year?
It's my fourth year.
So this is your first.
This is my first
graduating class.
Yes, they are.
You just heard one of those guys say something. That's got to warm your heart a little bit.
It does. And I try to stay away from the emotional part of it, because I've gotten to that point, but it does definitely hit home a little bit. And I love these guys, and we say that every morning. We say that every day. That even when they get upset, even when they act silly sometimes as kids, I'm not the one that's going to get in their face and jump at them anymore. It's more about teaching moments and making them understand that why being upset is not always the answer. Of course, I can honestly say that I probably wasn't the best example last week. As I lost my cool for the first time probably in 15 years. But it was definitely something that I'm very much transparent with my kids and my staff. And I woke up Monday morning, wasn't feeling right in my heart, and I sat up in front of them and said, guys, that wasn't me. That's out of character for me. And I apologized to them and my coaches. And they understood, and even the refs understood. You're fighting for your kids. Well, I always will, because they're my kids. And I'll stand right by them. Any situation that they're involved in, I'm going to be right there for them.
Josh, I'm going to let you stick up for Coach here. I understand what he's saying, but knowing your coach will fight for you and go to the mat for you, how much does that fire you up?
I think it just fires me all the way up, because knowing that we can have that chemistry as a team and not just be a normal team, but be more like a family. And like Coach Rod says, we're not building a good team. We're trying to be a good program again. And I just think that we're going one step closer each week and each day to being that good program again.
One thing, and wrapped up in all of what Juan Rod said there, he also ends up graduating good people. And I'm biased. These guys may not know my daughter's Darby Rosetta is a Lubbock High senior, so I've seen what it's done for her. So different breed of kids at that school. We'll come back after this break, talk more about the Westerners and Snyder. I am Randy Rosetta. This is 100.7 The Score.
Bringing you the latest news from Lubbock High Athletics. This is the Westerner Fan Zone podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back in. One more segment of the Westerner Fan Zone. We were just talking the best football movies. We have a vote for Waterboy. We have a vote for Remember the Titans. Juan and I were reminiscing about the one called The Best of Times. That's for us older guys, Juan.
Yeah, definitely.
This is another one. This is another one you guys need to find. It's called All the Right Moves.
Oh, yeah.
And it's about a little high school football team out in Pennsylvania. And I was fortunate enough. I spent 1 year out in Pennsylvania filling in for a guy. I got to cover some high school football in Pennsylvania. And I love Texas high school football. Pennsylvania high school football is the real deal too.
Yeah.
So, and I'm surprised nobody said Rudy. You got to watch Rudy. Wait, you guys haven't seen Rudy? You got to.
We might have to just watch that as a staff and team, because some of my coaches haven't watched Rudy either.
That hurts my heart a little bit.
Some of them haven't. Yeah.
If you have A&M fans, you have to wait until after this week to see what happens this week.
Definitely not going to have to watch it this weekend now.
We'll get out of the movie business here and start talking about football. Juan, what does Snyder do well that your guys have to be on alert about?
I think for us, at least, speaking from the defensive side, and, I'll let Josh, they are good at finding open space. And the quarterback, which was a quarterback last year that came in from Field, scored twice within a matter of minutes, scored 14 points. and he's a scrambler. He's a runner. And so that's kind of what we focused on too as a staff and as a group of defensive kids. We wanted to make sure that we stay on task and we don't get caught up watching guys move around, scramble out, and just play the best football we possibly can. You know, Russell McNeil, we used to always say, hey, you ever done cat coverage? And I said, no, sir. And he goes, well, it's very simple. Cat coverage means you've got that cat and that guy has that cat. You stay with your cat. And I said,
Dr.
yes, sir.
Death.
Yeah, I said, I understand now. So I think that's what we're going to focus to, is to eliminate those type of big plays. I think we're going to be okay at the run game. I think our kids are doing a great job. And I think offensively, I think we're just, again, I think we're going to be better up front than I think Big Spring's defense was quick. I think that scares me a little bit about them because they've got a quick D-line that can come off, and they like to pressure as well. But they're not going to give us anything we haven't seen in the last couple of weeks. But they're well coached. Coach Gonzalez does an amazing job over there, and he's a great man. And he's definitely one like I respect tremendously because just like I feel like I motivate these kids, he does the same for those kids as well.
Quarterback's name is Seth Cooper, and he's thrown for 554 yards and 5 touchdowns. But, Josh, he's also thrown 3 picks. So, defensively, what do you guys have to be ready for? Coach was talking about he moves around a lot. What do you want to see you guys do on defense against them?
On defense, what I really want us to do is stay over the top of everything because I've watched the film. They throw a lot of deep routes, and I think we just need to capitalize on those opportunities and go make the play like I believe our guys can do. And honestly, like Free says, I don't think there's much. If we do our jobs, there's not much I'm really scared of.
And they've been in a couple shootouts too. They've scored 28 points in both their games and lost in overtime, and then I think they lost 42-28. So offense, you guys have done a good job of putting points on the board. What's the focus this week against the defense that looks like you maybe have a chance to do some things?
Really, our focus is we need to protect our quarterback more. So, as me playing tackle, we've been working with our receivers. Like Big Spring, they had some quick ends, and just quick D-line in general. We've been working with our receivers to help us get quicker. Me and the other tackle, both tackles, all the tackles. We just really need to protect our quarterback and give him some time, give him some room to make some passes, and I think overall we should be good. And as long as Zach's throwing, and as long as our running backs are running, we should be good.
Your running back so far has run pretty well.
Yes,
I believe right now I think you've got the leading rusher in the city again. Bo didn't have 270 yards like the first game, but he did okay in the second game.
He did all right. 145, I believe.
Are you left-handed?
Yes, sir. I'm
I thought
left-handed.
so. I remember that in baseball. Do you play left tackle or right?
Left tackle.
Okay, because I would think that'd be hard, being a left-hander trying to play right tackle.
I'm ambidextrous, so
There we go. There's
I
another
can't even
word.
say. You see the educated kids of a little bit. I can't say those words.
There's another word we didn't have.
Me and you don't belong in that
We just said we
category.
could throw, and I never had to worry about it.
I
I
don't
tried
even know
to
how to
swing the
spell.
bat left-handed, and that didn't turn out so well. Lubbock High, Snyder, 7 p.m. at Lowry Field. It's the HubCityPreps.com game of the week. I will be there. I'm excited to be there. I want to see these guys in person and see what they can do. And I've got a vested interest. I've got a Lubbock High Rough Rider that I'm very fond of that'll be down there ringing the bell when you guys score. So that's going to wrap us up with Lubbock High tonight. We're going to head to a break. We'll be back after this in the Tiger Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score.